So everybody finds Bitcoin in their own way. I want to take a time to tell you my story, which actually is pretty rare. I got into Bitcoin in 2016 when nobody was really talking about it. I didn't have a friend come to me and say, hey, you need to be buying this. I'd heard about Bitcoin in 2013. It was interesting. I didn't do anything with it. 2016, my company that I was working at had just gotten acquired by Microsoft. So I had some cash. I had like $20,000 to learn investing, play around with. I was sure that the market was about to crash and that I was going to buy gold as a hedge. So I started reading all there was about gold. It kind of helped me learn about inflation, the stock market, and eventually I got introduced to a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island. Super boring book, but really important. It talks all about the creation of the Federal Reserve. I've got it on my Audible. I'm listening it at like 1.8 speed because it's so dry, but I'm learning a ton about kind of how corrupt the whole banking system is with this Federal Reserve and how this is not a good system. We need a better, more decentralized system than the Federal Reserve. I finished the book in the middle of July. The very next day, my dad's like, hey, I just got this newsletter. They're talking about the next Bitcoin. You should check it out. So I read the newsletter. I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. It's a new coin, but they didn't tell me. So I had to figure out what this new Bitcoin was. Long story short, it was called Ethereum. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Why don't I put some money into Bitcoin and Ethereum now? So I had $5,000. I downloaded the Coinbase app and I put $2,500 into Bitcoin and $2,500 into Ethereum, having no idea what I was getting myself into. Shortly after, Bitcoin and Ethereum tanked by 50%. All right, well, this was a long-term play. We'll just see how it goes. It wasn't until the next January, so 6 months later, that things start to come back. I'm finally above break even. Bitcoin's close to $1,000. I think I bought in at 600. It's oh, this is really profitable. And I actually remember at I think $1,100, I sold my Bitcoin being yeah, I think I almost doubled my money. Then I saw it coming right back up. And so I put all my money back in there. During this time, I was getting really excited. I kind of started doing deep dives as to blockchain technology and really got fascinated about the whole decentralized concept. I started telling all my coworkers. My boss even let me go to a crypto conference. I was obsessive at this point. I created my own newsletter to just tell my coworkers what they needed to know about it because I got tired of explaining the same thing over and over and over. So I basically just Bitcoin pilled myself over those 6 months. Then come March, things again were heating up. I think everything had at least more than doubled. I put $8,000 more into crypto. This is right before things got crazy. 2017 was the year of ICOs. ICOs were popping off one new one every single week. I ended up investing in one of the first ICOs called Civic. $13,000 between the initial $5,000 and the additional $8,000. $13,000 into $1 million by the end of 2017. And then I got really disgusted with the industry because I saw all these ICOs. None of them had any product market fit. The industry was full of scammers. It just became gross. And I was like, this is not what I signed up for. So I sold out of 90% of my crypto, all of my shit coins, and I had a few Bitcoin left. That was a fun ride. I left my job. I went and got my MBA. And then my friend calls me, this is late 2019. He's like, you should look at Bitcoin again. All right, tell me more. Have you heard of the stock to flow model? I was like, no, tell me more. Basically, it compared gold to Bitcoin and how they had roughly similar scarcity levels. And based on that scarcity level, we could predict the price. Oh, this is interesting. This kind of goes right back to what I got interested in Bitcoin in the first place, of being a better version of gold, it being this decentralized money system. So I put all of my money back into Bitcoin and Ethereum. COVID happened. It crashed. I think I put $150,000, $200,000. It crashed by 70%. Couldn't sell. Then the government printed $5 trillion. And that's when I was like, this is my moment. This is why I bought Bitcoin, is because they are going to inflate the value of our money away through money printing. and we need hard money. Not only do we need hard money, we need money that actually people want to use. People are not using gold. It's too hard. Bitcoin is the solution. And that's when I went all in. I wrote a small ebook, created a course, and I was teaching every single person I could that would listen to me why they needed Bitcoin in their portfolio. I'm not about that you need to go all in. You don't need to have 100, even 50%. I'm talking just you got to get off of 0%. My whole thesis is just put at least 1% of your net worth, your investable assets into Bitcoin. If that 1% goes to zero, you lose 1%, you're left with 99%. No love lost, you're like, that was a nice risk. But if it really does what BlackRock, what Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy think it's going to do and get to $1 million, that 1% is going to turn into 50, 75, probably even like 80% of your net worth on just a 1% investment. It's an insurance policy. Get off of zero. That's my message. Buy some Bitcoin. This is not financial advice.